I see that a couple of you have already joined in. We're going to start our masterclass today sharp at 11 a.m. Okay. I request you all to stay tuned in the meanwhile time. Good morning to everybody who is writing messages into the chat box, who is not reacting over here. Right. So thanks a lot for joining with us today. And it's immense pleasure to see you all this excited on a Sunday morning. Such a pleasure to have you all into our audience for the day. Okay, so once again, we're going to start our masterclass in next 7 minutes. I request all of you to stay tuned in the meanwhile time. And yep, that's about it. However, just a quick update, the chat box has been enabled for all of you. The Q&A poll has been enabled for all of you. Update number 1, chat box is for engagements, right? So let's chat, talk, pass comments, positives, negatives, how are you feeling, etc. into the chat box. But whenever you have any questions, or if you have any queries, only use Q&A poll. Do not do vice versa, okay? So thanks a lot, everybody. I see already. Yeah, no worries. I mean, I see everybody who is over here. And once again, we're going to start at 11 a.m. sharp. So I request everybody to stay tuned. Okay. I have a video for you all to play over here. So I'm sure that you are aware with the fact that I see a couple of questions already floating, irrespective of that. I'm sure we all are aware of the fact that how upGrad considers the learning experience very, very seriously, and how we are able to enable that and deliver it to our learners is with a dream project coming through with the support of our tech team, is the PRISM platform, a learning platform which upGrad has developed for the learnings of our learners, to ensure that the learnings are successful to our learners. This platform enables practice, assessments, assignments, also shows you the mirror by giving you a feedback. You can raise, you can conduct, you can actually join your session, practice whatever you have learned right over there. And after that, you can also come back, appear into assignments, which we want to schedule one-on-one mentorship. The platform enables that. So everything in one platform. And that is how we are able to fulfill the need of our learners, right? So learning experience is top notch. I see a couple of questions floating into the chat box that how we'll cover this topic of UI UX in next 2 hours. How is going to be the flow of masterclass? Can we plan different type of masterclass in the given future? We all hear you, right? We are all ears. We are able to hear it all. We are going to cover the roadmap of a career graph of UI UX in this masterclass, right? However, once again, this class starts in next 4 minutes from now, 11 a.m. IST. We have a lot of more learners expected to join in, right? So just give us a moment, and I have a video to share across to you all about the PRISM platform. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and play that video for all of you.
We live in a fast-changing digital world. The rate of change is intensifying. The workforce is struggling to keep up, and the skills gap is increasing. Why this gap? Because individuals and companies are struggling to adapt to the new pace of change. To compete at the pace of change, teams need to build skills at scale and drive outcomes. And for that, they depend on KnowledgeHut. Introducing PRISM, KnowledgeHut's new immersive learning experience platform. PRISM is designed to provide a highly engaging, immersive learning experience with you at the center of the learning. You get to learn, practice, assess, gain insights on your learning, and personalize your learning journey. Get started with a live instructor-led training program, online self-paced course, or a blended learning course. PRISM supports all delivery modes, providing the learner with a seamless learning experience. Explore the detailed curriculum and get familiar with all the learning assets available to you. Reinforce your learning anytime, anywhere with engaging on-demand videos, smart flashcards, interactive ebooks, and recall quizzes. Practice is crucial to your learning process. Want to practice your coding? Access our playground labs anytime, anywhere. Guided hands-on exercises help you gain confidence and get productive right from the get-go. Test your subject matter comprehension through diagnostic, module level and final assessments. Our diagnostic assessment helps benchmark you, gauge where you stand, learn tactically and develop the skills you need to move fast. Assess your skills at every stage with a variety of questions ranging from multiple choice to code-based, completely auto-graded by our system. Assignments and projects within our inbuilt and intelligent development environment give you micro work-like experiences. Based on your performance in the assessments, assignments and projects, you gain deep insights on your progress. Identify areas you are good at and where you need to improve. Follow recommendations and enhance your skill proficiency from where you are to where you want to get. You can join live instructor-led sessions right from within the platform. And once the session is over, you have the recorded video available right here along with lifetime access to the content. Stuck anywhere? PRISM also supports one-to-one mentoring. An exclusive assigned expert will help clarify your doubts and guide you. You also get to maximize your learning potential with collaborative social learning via discussion forums and group and one-to-one messaging. So whether you're preparing to move to a modern JavaScript framework, build an AI-based application, or whatever your area of interest, you can trust KnowledgeHut to help you develop skills effectively. By leveraging our state-of-the-art intelligent environment, skills assessments, one-of-a-kind analytics, and immersive learning experience platform, organizations can now put the right people on the right projects. It's why fast-growing companies are getting on PRISM. They understand that it will help them keep up with the pace of change and grow faster than their competition. So, what is your company doing? Is the notion of aligning your learning strategy with a skills strategy at the board of your company right now? What are your training budgets? And essentially, what should you be learning next?
All right, we have all our audience for the day. Cool. Just 1 second. Okay. All right, cool. A very good morning to all of you and a very warm welcome to today's masterclass on UI UX Career Masterclass, right? Today, we all are here to learn about the career roadmap in UI and UX. Before we begin, I have a few quick questions to all of you, to all of our audience who are a part of this masterclass today. Our audience, in every second, actually, a lot of thousands of people are joining this masterclass, and here to inform you that we have want to keep the joining window open for all of you. So a quick update. We are going to start with our masterclass in the next 15 minutes from now. But meanwhile, we are going to keep engaging to understand our audience for the day. So to begin with, I'm really excited to hear that from where you all are joining from. To begin with me, I'm joining from Bangalore. It's a weekend, hence I'm joining straight away from my apartment. And I'm so excited to see that from where you all are joining from today. Hey, I see. I'm gonna pick out some responses. So Hyderabad, Chennai, Mumbai, Vizag. Okay, Vijayawada, Vadodara, Rangal, Bangalore. Okay, whom else do we have? Okay, good morning, everybody. I see a couple of good morning floating in the chat box. And trust me, by the time I scroll down, it is like another 500 messages. So I'm really sorry if I'm not able to call out anyone's place. So Jharkhand, Nellore, Karimnagar, Visakhapatnam, okay, Guntur. All right. So I see that. I guess I am going to openly say, like a radio jockey, good morning, India, all together, as the people are coming from all over the country. I'm sure that some of us are actually from international, overseas. Thanks a lot for joining with us today, right? Today's masterclass is with the whole experience to make you understand that how you can actually start your career in the UI UX domain. This masterclass is the right place for all those folks who are interested to begin your career into UI UX, upskill your career into UI UX, or transition your career into UI UX. Upgrad, founded in 2015 by Ronnie Screwwala, Mayank, Kumar, and Falgun, started with a mission of creating a learning experience platform for upskilling, reskilling for working professionals and students. With this agenda, we have started creating courses and boot camps. And today's masterclass is aligned with our one and only UI and UX design bootcamp. So, 3 months long bootcamp empowers you to become a successful UI UX designer. Upskill you if you're actually already into the UI UX domain. Learn more tools from our bootcamp. Transition your career from any other domain, could be sales, HRM, operations, tech, advertising, creatives, etc. To UI UX domain from our bootcamp. And begin your career as an extreme beginner, irrespective of coming from any background. Not from domain, not from a creative domain, that's fine. Coming from a tech domain, that's fine. Do not know how to do coding, that's fine. Do not know how to operate tool, that is fine. Our bootcamp covers it all. Our bootcamp covers it all, makes you ensures that your UI UX bootcamp career has the right start. On a top of it, we offer you an internship opportunity with the same. With this UI UX bootcamp masterclass, UI UX career masterclass, we also want to announce a scholarship for all those participants who are a part of our today's masterclass, right? That we are going to cover at the end. Now, let me talk to you about the flow of today's masterclass, right? What would be our flow? How we will approach the learning. At this point of time, at 5 minutes past 11, we are undergoing to an engagement with each other. I'm understanding that from where you all are joining from, and I have a couple of more questions, of course, right? Adding on to that, in next 10 minutes, I'm going to introduce our expert, Mr. Prithiv Kumar, who is a UI UX designer in Nissan India, who's going to conduct this masterclass on the learning experience. So we're going to enter into the learning segment in 10 minutes from now. All right. From 11:15 till 12:30, we are going to have a complete learning experience time. We're going to cover the planned subject matter for today's masterclass. From 12:30, we have a very special person joining in to announce the scholarship of today's masterclass participants. And the bonanza just doesn't end over there. You have to, if you appear the complete masterclass, if you stay till the end with us, right? If you stay till the end with us, you're also eligible for a certificate. Now, when can you actually expect your certificate? The certificates will be shared to you on your respective email IDs within 2 weeks from masterclass completion. How would we know from which email ID we would be sharing it? The email ID from which you have actually registered for the masterclass, right, is where the certificates would be shared with you within 2 weeks from the masterclass completion. So I hope everyone is aligned with the flow of masterclass. 10 minutes from now, we're going to start with the subject matter. 12:30 p.m. IST, we're going to announce the scholarship and the completion time of this masterclass. All those folks who are actually to stay till the end of the masterclass are eligible for a certification. Can I get some thumbs ups as the reaction to ensure that you all are aligned with the flow of masterclass? Awesome. Thanks a lot, everybody. That is great. Really kind, really nice to see some hearts flowing as well. I'm sure that we're going to have a lot of fun in today's masterclass. All right. Now, talking a bit more about our audience for the day. Cool. A lot of thumbs ups. Yep. A lot of thumbs ups are coming in. Talking about a bit more from our audience today. Now, I'm going to launch a poll. Okay. Why this poll? I want to understand your expectation from the masterclass. Right? So this poll is open on your screen now, and I want to see at least 95% participation. Right? Yes. Come on, guys. Punch in your answers. I'm really excited to see your responses. At least 95% participation into the poll. By the way, upgrad's placement ratio is also 95%. So yes. I just felt of calling it out. Upgrades. Placement ratio is also nice for all those who appear into our boot camps, get placed to one of the top product companies available in the country. Ooh, all right. I see 77% participation. And I want to see at least 95%. I am a stubborn host. I'm sorry about that. All right, now we have touched 85% participation into the poll. Can we have this poll running for another 20 seconds and see maximum learners participating into it? All right, another 20 seconds, guys. We are at 85% participation at this point of time. Another 10 seconds of this poll. All right, cool. All right, ending poll here now. Well, we had 90% of participations. I'm going to say that out. I love you all, audience. Seriously, you have not let me down and you have met the number that I was expecting. Thanks a lot for your engagement. That really excites me. Well, the response of the poll is 83% of our participants today are planning to enter into the UI UX industry. So you are at the right place, guys. 7% participants are interested to inquire about upgrad programs. Do not worry, we have that all covered. Now, 10% of audience today have a fan following to our expert. Yes, so they are here to listen to our instructor. I guess we have all that covered. So thanks a lot for your participation, guys. Since a couple of more participants who have joined in just now, I would like to call out the flow of the masterclass again, right? So within 5 minutes from now, we are going to start a masterclass subject matter for which we are here. After at 12:30 p.m. IST, we're going to announce the scholarship for the UI UX bootcamp. And at the end, all those learners who are stay till the end till 1 p.m. IST with us who are eligible for the certification within 2 weeks, that will be shared via email to your registered email ID. All right, cool. Now, let me set the approach towards this masterclass, right? All your chats, engagement, happy friendships day, etc. messages posted into the chat box. Okay. And all your queries with regards to the masterclass or regards to your career or regards to UI UX, post it into the Q&A option. All those participants who feel that they have the same question, kindly upvote the question so that we are able to pick the most asked question first and answer it, right? The language of communication of this masterclass would be English. So that is going to be the approach for this masterclass. I hope everyone is aligned with the same. Cool. So I hope everyone is fine with that. Everyone is aligned with the same so far. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Talking about today's masterclass again, right? Since a couple of more participants have already joined us, good morning, everybody. My name is Nikshaba, and I'm your host for today's masterclass. UI UX is a creative domain, a domain which has a lot of insights, a lot of creativity, a lot of feedback, and a lot of thought process to approach the consumer. Honestly, UI and UX can change the reaction and the approach of a consumer towards a product. The design of a website or a product or an approach aligns with the satisfaction with the landing page of the consumer. And it's booming, especially in India, with this career domain of UI UX is booming, especially in India. That is because of the booming IT sector in our country, right? We all align. We all are aligned with that, correct? Now, why UI UX, right? Why you should pursue a UI UX career? At least 40% of expansion in the job roles of UI UX in next 5 years. That is correct. In 2017, more than 20,000 new job roles were introduced in UI UX. 2021 increased it to 25,000. 2022 increased it to 40,000. As of 2023, just till August, we have more than 35,000 job roles being introduced in the market. And that is just going to keep on increasing. That is all thanks to the booming IT sector in our country. This job role has no end. The sky is the limit for this job role. And that is why you should pursue the career of UI UX. It has everything that you want. It has everything that you want to achieve in the domain, right? So today's masterclass is about how to build your successful career in UI UX, the UI UX career masterclass, a guide to a successful career, right? For that, we have our expert, Prithiv, who has joined with us today. Prithiv, coming from as a senior UI UX designer from Nissan India. Prithiv has more than 8 years of experience in this industry, has been teaching to our learners since last 6 months, has taught more than 3,000 learners in his journey of delegating his knowledge and expansion of this knowledge towards the UI UX domain, right? So in next another 1 minute, we are going to start this masterclass. I see a couple of comments already flowing in. Thanks a lot to everybody who has joined with us today. All the very best. Happy learning. And over to you, Prithiv, from here.
Yeah, thank you, Nikshubha. And
Thank you.
yes, it's really great to see like participants all over India has come in, and I think like we also have people outside India too, right? That's a really amazing thing. Hey guys, hope you're having a great day. So yeah, thank you, Nikshubha. So yeah, that's really interesting, guys. Happy to see like happening comments all over the chat box, and of course if it's related to the course and it's related to your career, kindly put out in the Q&A section as Nikshubha was instructing. And yeah, so right now like I could say everyone is saying like where are you from. So right now I'm situated at Trivandrum, and yeah, I would like to know which industry or domain are you guys from, so that will be really interesting to know, so that we could drive the whole presentation or based on this, so that will be really help you to how you can take it forward. So I have seen like few mechanical engineers, designers, okay, multimedia people. My gosh, the comments are running crazy, man. I'm seeing quite a lot of engineers. That's an amazing. I'm being myself an engineer too. So yeah, that's amazing, guys. You see such a mix. That's great. And congrats to everyone. You are taking the first step towards getting to know about UI UX, which is actually at the pinnacle of its time, I would say. Because right now, if you go to like, LinkedIn and search for UX or UI job or UI UX designers, at least you will find closer to 4,000 jobs open each and every single day. So that's how huge the market is right now. And as being a UI UX designer, you're not restricted to be working at single place. You can work globally to any company across the globe, right? So that's how the vast the field is. So great. So we have a lot of interesting profiles too. Like, great. I'm really happy to see you guys like putting up. I see like most of you are from, I mean, like from college or like students, and we have few freshers, and we also like few no expert, I mean like an experienced candidate also. That's amazing. So I think it's the right time to know about this course, so that you can indulge in it pretty soon in your early career and flourish in it.
Cool. I see, Prithiv, a lot of learners are still punching in your answers.
Yes,
And
yes.
meanwhile, I would like to ask a quick question for the expert, right? So it's gonna be at least like more than an hour of learning, right? So what would
Yes.
the proposed table of content? What everything that we're gonna talk about in our masterclass today with our learners?
So yeah, to keep up the expectation, I would say like we're gonna look into the introduction part. Let's say like what is it and what's done by in each industry, and then we're gonna get into like what are the job opportunities available. Like, cause regardless of the background, regardless of the domain you are from, there is always a place for you in UI UX. That is the truth. Okay, because even the leading industries globally, they're recruiting people from left, right, and center about different industries, because every industry expertise is needed in UX design or
Right.
UI design. So I would say like we'll be getting into each job sectors and opportunities available, and what is going to be the future of UI UX down the line, maybe a decade down the line. And also we're going to look into the growth factor, how you if you after you get into a job as a UI UX designer, how your growth is going to be, what are the choices you're going to make, how it's going to be. And that's how the whole thing is going to be. They're going to learn about UI UX and the jobs they can look into with their experience or their expertise in academics, and then how they could move up the ladder. So that's the whole agenda going
That
forward
is
for this presentation.
I guess everyone is equally excited for the same, and so do I, because I guess, it's a very creative field. And I feel that one thing that is going to be very common for every UI UX developer is it's a very subjective field at the same time. Like opinions are all flooded in this domain. Like you have 10 clients, and 10 clients have 10
Yes.
different thoughts. And then there's one client of yourself where you are building that product. So you also have
Yes.
a thought to it. So I'm sure that we're going to learn a lot today, and excited to have getting this started. Over to you from here again.
Yeah. Thank you, Nikshubha. So great. So wonderful, guy. We have like few thousand participants. It's really great to see you guys interested in this field. So without any further ado, so let's get to the presentation part. It is quite intensive presentation. So we'll get there. So yep. So give me a thumbs up if my presentation is visible for you guys.
Yes.
Okay, great. So yes, we're gonna start from here. Okay, great. And yeah, I'm gonna be snoozing our chat for a while. Okay, so if you have any questions regarding the presentation or related to your career profile, or anything related to the UI UX, kindly post it on the Q&A session, and other people kindly upvote if you also have the same question, so that it will be prioritized to answer. Okay, so make sure the related questions comes in the QA session, and the chat can be over here, so that we can interact on the basis, and the professional will keep the QA sessions to be answered. Okay. Okay, that's great. Okay, let's get to it. So exploring the job opportunities of UX and the growth plan of that. So what do you guys think about this as an industry? I just want to know, how do you consider this industry as? So anyone wants to say, because okay, so anyone wants to say, what do you guys think about the UI UX industry? I could see, not everyone is coming from design background. I could see a lot of people coming from way to the design. I have like few designs and stuff. Okay, great. I'm having quite a mixed answer in the chat box. Okay, so I would say everyone over here, one way or the other, is closer to the answer, I would say, because as a UI UX is a very vast field, and being, let's say, like from regardless of your background or your domain, you will always find your place, or let's say your interest in this field, because we're going to look at the most job opportunities in India, and we are also going to discuss about few niche which is available, because we're going to look at the important categories of jobs available, since it's a very huge industry. Like companies like Google, Microsoft have a niche role into it too, because there can be at least like 10 different UX designers in a company with a different niche. One can be a researcher. In research itself, we have qualitative researcher, quantitative researcher, strategist. So likewise, there is a quite ample amount of job opportunities out there. So we're going to look into the top few ones, and we're going to discuss with it, and what are the maybe experience or the expertise should be available for this. Regardless of the title, everyone in that list should be knowing the UI UX all through what is being done. Okay, then only you'll be getting into the specialist part, right? Okay, so let's start with an intro. This is going to be the table of contents. Since I already told you, we're going to look into the UI UX, what is it, how is it important, and how the future is going to be, an evolution. And then we're going to get into the roles, which is going to be quite a list, and importance, and again a future job roles, how it's going to develop and how it's going to improve, and what are skills you can expect to develop in the near future, and tips, of course, to land a dream job. And then comes the career path, how you're going to, which direction you're planning to take it forward, and then the conclusion. This is going to be the table of content and agenda for the whole presentation part. Yep. Moving on. So kudos to you, each and every one of you have joined the session, because stepping into this workshop itself, like this masterclass, you have company have gone through a step further of getting yourself to be a UI UX designer, because this step is really important, because I've seen a lot of people who want to do something but they have not started doing it. You guys have actually made an impact and made a progress in your the way of getting closer to a UI UX designer, right? So yes, looking into this field, this is quite a fascinating field that actually combines the aesthetics, psychology, and technology. Because creating a digital experience is not just like, it's not just be visually appealing, but also emotionally engaging, right? Because we as a user, at least we spend 3 to 4 hours average time in our mobile phone, right? Every 10 minutes or every 5 minutes we check our phone for notification, or we get indulged in an application, right? Every application or any kind of interface or any kind of where the user interacts with the product, as in like, mobile displays or desktop or laptop, a UX person is involved in the development of the process, in the process of developing that application or the interface. As an UI UX, without these two people, as a UI UX designer, interface won't be good as it is right now, right? That's how important it is, right? So so it can be like, you can be a person who's interested in designing a website, mobile phones, or software interface, regardless of, let's say, like, need not be mobile or desktop. It can be a smartwatches, it can be custom devices, it can be industry touch interface also. So that's how the huge is feel, right? So yes, the UI design is an essential skill that helps you to create product that people love to use. Okay, moving on to the next one. So what it is actually. So we're going to look at a very higher level, and going to understand what these people really do. Okay, let's get into the UI. UI stand for user interface design, right? User interface, and which refers to the graphical layout of an application or a website. So whatever you are seeing, the color, the way the way things are placed, the layout, and even the, like, the illustration and the buttons, and how the graphical interface of your screen looks right now you're looking me at, right? Everything is placed on the top bar, your top bar or the bottom bar. You could see all the controls over there. It will be placed appropriately in appropriate spaces. Everything is done by the UI person, right? Getting on to it, UX stands for user experience, which encompasses the overall experience of using a product, which is like, which right from they get to know about a brand, get to know about a product, they actually start to experience the product directly or indirectly or passively or actively. They'll be getting to know the experience of the product. So the experience starts from right and when they get to know about the product, and even when they receive it, and after that also using it, and even getting back to the brand with let's say a support request or a customer care request, anything for that matter. Regardless of that, the user experience is a part of that. Okay, so looking into it, this field is a quite an intuitive field, and a user interface that guides the user through the journey and facilitate their goal. This is going to be the most important part of this UI UX design, because we are people who actually provide solution. As such, like, there can be a need, there can be a problem for the user. We are the people providing them the solution, and how we provide them and how efficiently we are providing them using the technology as in design as a tool. That's how we'll be more efficient towards solving them, right? So that's where things get really good, as in where the AI can't support that. That's where the UI UX designers are never going to be replaced by AIs, right? So that's how it is. So over here, we are expected to have a deep understanding, or let's say like a depth of understanding about the human behavior, visual design principles, and technical constraints. So as in like, because there are a lot of things which can only be designed, and not everything can be developed. And there can be like many things can be apart from the time which doesn't have the technology at present, but it can come in the future, right? So that's how the field is. You can, that is like, the creativity is endless, guys. Okay, the technology might not be here to develop it, but your creativity is gonna make yourself like as a free bird, and you can design anything that comes in your mind. That's how wild and the wide the field is, right? Moving on. So yes, UI UX, everything, like people are designing it, and how important it is. Is it really needed? Because there are quite a lot of confusion as such, saying that is it really required to consider the user interface design and the UX design? So as you could see, there are companies which have made millions and millions, billions and billions, just because of the way they could understand the user and provide them with a better solution. And there are great companies who are the market leaders, who didn't consider the user experience and gone down and they almost vanished, right? So best example, I would say, think about this Nokia or BlackBerry, right? So these guys were almost like a decade or 15 years back. These guys were the talk of the town. Anyone who's having these phones have been considered one of the elites, or as in a BlackBerry is a proper business phone and people are using it. All the businessmen throughout the world were using it and their application was doing great. But the thing is that they didn't get to understand the user needs, which is always getting updated day by day, and it changes as per the technology, as per the trends. So they didn't get adapt to it, which is why the whole thing happened. So UI and user interface and user experience is a major part of it, right? Because to be precise, like a BlackBerry had the tactile physical keyboard buttons, and that's the time when the touch phones came into the market, and it made a revolution. And BlackBerry stuck to the same design as in the tactile keyboard feature. They didn't plan to get into the touch buttons, but later, when it's too late, they try to get in, but the market was already past them. So right now we don't have a mobile phone that is branded as BlackBerry with us, or we can't even see anyone using it, even though they release like crazy model naming devices too. But yeah, coming up with Nokia in the chapter, they are trying to do something, but still they haven't got the market share they used to have. So that's how a good design can make a brand, and a bad design can break a brand. Okay. So yeah, looking into the presentation, right? From a business perspective, it can increase customer satisfaction, loyalty, and revenue. A well-designed product can also differentiate a company from its competitors and enhances brand image. So as you could see, the best example is that the Apple design, right? Right in when you get to know about the brand Apple, and when you step into, right from the experience, you step into their experience center, their shop, right? iStore. When you get into it, you get the same experience while using the product or getting into it, even when you actually get to the website, operating their mobile phones or desktops or laptops, or even right in get in touch with their support, right? The whole experience is so seamless and it's really great. And the way you feel premium from the start till the end is the whole experience they provide. And that is what every brand has been trying to achieve, but they're not able to achieve like how the Apple did, right? That's how important it is, a UI UX design for a brand. So you could take any product for that matter. You could take any Android phones or any phones for that matter. It can't replicate, or it can't do how the Apple has done the whole experience part. Yes, of course, the technology wise, Apple makes sure it is little bit like delayed from compared to Android, but overall the experience which the Apple gives and Android gives, the Apple is far more superior as in the experience perspective. Of course, these people take user experience really seriously. Okay, that's how the experience matters a lot, and which implies to the part also user interface, right? Moving on, from a user perspective, good UI UX design can make a product more accessible, enjoyable, and efficient to use. It can reduce frustration, errors, and cognitive load, and create positive emotions such as trust, delight, and empowerment. So once you have these three factors from the customers or the users, people are never going to think about getting another brand for that, or using another product for their particular issue or needs. They're going to stick on with it. So that's how a product should be, right? So, and a product should be really easy to use, and it should be error free, and it should reduce frustration for the users. So a direct example would be how simple the Google is. How many of you actually like looked into the Google, and it's just a straight design, right? Anyone who gets to Google know that they have to type something. Yes, they might think what to type in, but it has made very clear about, they just have a text box in the middle of the screen and you just have to type it, right? People don't really have to think how simple and beautiful the design is, right? So going into, let's like compare with Yahoo, right? There are like a lot of content, but Yahoo also has an amazing search engine, but we don't consider Yahoo to be a search engine, because like it is just that we just consider them as a mailing service, just only a mailing service, right? So but Google is the one who's always think about as when we think we'll get it as a search engine, because that's how they have designed it. So that's how it's really simple, and how a good design can impact. So right now the Google is in the place where it is right now due to the good design and making it simple for the users to use, and user feel less frustrated as searching for such an information, right? So right now Google is in the place which no one can move from its predominant market share and the way the technology they are taking it forward, right? So the you take any brands which are actually in the top notch position, take any of them, they can't deal without the UI and UX person or the overall design of the product without them, right? UX should be the main part of the way they are taking over the business, the designing part, because UX is so much important, which combines with the UI and produce an amazing device, right? Regardless it's going to be digital product or physical product, these two makes a lot of difference, right? So moving on. So yeah, so what are the future of the jobs in UI UX going to be? Because the technology is rapidly changing, and there is like quite a lot of things to know. Because stepping into UI UX designer, one thing for sure is that you are always going to be a learner. You will be learning every day, passively or actively, or you might be inside, let's say you might be connected to things which is going to make yourself aware of what's going on to the trend. Okay, so of course we do make sure during the our courses, we do make sure like you get there, so that you don't have the need to get updated, like 1 hour I'm going to do this, 1 hour I'm going to get in to see what is the trending, and another hour I'm going to study the practice. So it becomes a part of you, because the learning is going to be part of your life. It's not just going to be career, it's going to be your life, because we our life is surrounded by technology, mobile phones, laptops, or anything for that matter. We can't live without technology. That's the era we are at right now, right? So the trends are going to be changing and updating every single day. The being updated with them is what is going to give you the upper, let's say, like maybe a strong point compared to the other ones outside, like outside your circle or in your circle, right? Or even your peers for that matter, who's working alongside with you. So it is going to be really, it is already a very competitive industry, but there are like n number of chances for you to shine and get better at it, right? So over the years it has actually changed the overall potential and advancement that this particular field can make changes or impact right now and to the future, right? Looking onto it, we also like have will be like demand for UX job in the future, and providing tips for those looking to break into the industry and advance in their career. Of course, we are going to give that down this presentation. We'll be giving you that for sure. So yeah, that's the future, and future is going to make us as a UI designer roles irreplaceable, regardless of however the good the AI becomes. This is because that is a very important part with the UI UX design, empathy part, where understanding the user and empathizing with them with no AI can do right now. So that's how solid is the work is. Okay. And being a designer myself, I would say like, this is a really great profile, as you could enjoy what you're doing. You don't really have to worry about Mondays or like, because every day is a weekday. If you know, every day is going to be a weekend, and every day is going to be a holiday if you enjoy what you're doing, right? So that's how good the field is. So yes, the job market, even if you can search it right now in LinkedIn, at least you'll be able to find 2,500 to 4,000 jobs in the profile, right? So let's move on. So yeah, let's get into the evolution of the job roles, right? So it has been like, let's say like back in the days, it started, let's say like before even UX was a thing, UI UX was a thing in early 90s. Before that, the graphic designers, it evolved from being a graphic designer, and then it evolved into a visual design, then into a UI UX design. So but in the early 90s is where the user experience was termed, has been coined by the Don Norman. So people who are into this industry or design would know this name, because he's called as the father of UX. Okay, so it's a very fascinating industry, and it has evolved right from like right back in the days, which there was just where they could enter the bunch of codes to even do a Word document, right? So from there, till like then they started up putting on a save button, because like people weren't able to save their work whatever they did, which is the first step of even understanding the user needs, right, as in a part of the UI UX designer profile, right? It right from there till right now, where we are at the greater levels of height, where each and every division of UI UX has a potential. And as you get nicher and nicher, your requirement and your irreplaceability factor gets greater and greater, right? So let's look into this. As the technology has advanced, so too have the job roles within the UI UX field. We have seen a race of specialized job roles as UX researcher and writers, as well as increase the importance of collaboration with different job roles. This also, like, I would like to add on to interaction designers and even motion designers, and there are quite a bunch of profiles too in it. So these are just higher level, and when it gets like it gets like it gets 4 to 5 subcategories. Everything has a niche, and the way you get it, the way the specialized you get it, the more opportunity gets clearer for you, because that's the best part of this domain, right? This clear staying up to date with the latest trend and technologies is crucial for success in this industry. This is gonna be the clearly game changer. This is because it's easy to get outdated in this field if you're not getting yourself updated in the lifestyle of what users are using, what technologies up, what website is making people like looking into them. Or let's say like even there is a latest bus in the town was Threads, which was introduced by Meta. So that's how huge it is. Being updated is going to be a game changer. Okay, so I would say like right now you could start your journey as a UX designer, as it can be really early. The early the better. But of course, like if you have the experience for that too, it's great, because you understand the segment of users. Because anywhere at any job, we are working for someone, we are getting in touch with some user. It can be a client, it can be a stakeholder, it can be a boss, but we are interacting with one or the other to understand their needs, and we are trying to fulfill it and bringing up with a creative solution. Yes, of course, it might not be creative as a design, but the way the solution we give, it can be a critical solution, can be a creative solution, whatever it is. That's the type of skill which is needed to get as a you get to be a UI UX designer, right? So the good thing about is that everyone has that. The bad thing about is that we don't sharpen it. Of course, everyone over here will be using that skill at your part. It can be a daily driver, like you can be using it every day, or it can be using it whenever you feel, when you want to bring up with solution. So, but we don't sharpen it. So, which is gonna be the main goal of making you as a complete creative person while you think of it. The when you get to see, let's say like see interface of a mobile, and after like getting into UI UX, if you think interface, it's a lot more difference. You can't unsee it again, because the way you see itself changes, the way you approach a product, the way you approach your design, the way you actually interact with the design changes. So that's how intense the role is, right? So yeah, moving on. So the one of the popular roles, I would say, the UI designer, right? So this goes just beyond it just goes beyond just creating visually appealing, because this role requires you to understand the user and their needs. So only when you understand their needs and what sort of user they are and what they would be needing, you can design for them. You can choose appropriate color, or appropriate the way things can be done, right? Or trendy. So you can't design a trendy website for let's say like for a old age home app, right? Or you can't do vice versa. You can't put let's say like really old design for old people design to a really trendy Gen Z people, right? So these people make sure that doesn't happen. So these people has to understand the user, and these are more into in making that intuitive design, so that people feel easy to use, and they can navigate through the application or the whole application without any issues, right? So these people have to understand how the user experience work and ensure everything is under the design system or as per the brand guidelines by the brand, right? So over here, UI designers expect to have a strong analytical skills and ability to do and understand the user research, right from like making design decision, right? So people, let's say, like who have an artistic background, or let's say people who are from graphic design background, or any of that related of a creative background, as in creative, as I said, like artistic, or you are in design background, or even you are interested in design, this would be a great field for you to explore. And right now you could search it up, at least like every day 200 2000 jobs are available for this domain, this particular role. Moving on, UX designer. So UX designer has been an important job role, as every company right now in the industry is searching for one. Okay, that's how the need is for the UI designer as well as for the UX designer. So here is almost like you would need to have a complete understanding of the user needs and how they are behaving it, and you should be in a position where you're able to understand them and comprehend with them and make research interviews, and almost like you will be conducting the whole thing and analyze the data and come up with an insight to provide a solution for them. So here the critical problem solving skill is expected. As such, this is because people want to understand this. As a UX designer, you should be able to understand how, why this particular thing is working, why this thing is not working, what is making the user to be reluctant to this, how user are able to connect, how they're not able to connect. So you should be able to look from different perspective to come up with an answer with which your primary audience is going to enjoy using that particular application for that particular solution. So this is a crucial role. And being UI and a UX designer, these things, the roles which are going to come after this is going to be a branches, different branches of these two. Okay, because these are the most higher level jobs in it. And as and when this, after like when you're getting into this field, you will be a UI UX designer, or UI designer, or UX designer. Post which down your career, you will be choosing a niche which you want to get into, that as in however you want to develop your career at, right? So yes, and as a UX designer, you and also UI designer, you will be connecting with a lot of people, which we'll be discussing a little further down the line. So yes, role of a UI developer. So I would say like UI developer, it's not just about being a front end developer. Okay, because you would be looking, you should be in a place where you understand the UX and the UI, and people who should have a complete understanding about what sort of technology should I put it to make it look this way, right? So you should have understand the latest trends and technologies, and as in communicate with the fellow designers to bring out the essence of what they intended to design, right? So of course, like right, for any developer, problem solving, critical thinking is going to be a part of it, and technology is going to be a daily driver. People who are coming up from a developer background, or from a person who wants to really like to know develop a code down the line, you can look into this job role. As such, this is really the requirement for this job role is really high, as in just like the other two roles, this is really high. And this has vast more intense uh, capability of understanding the design as well as the coding part. So understanding technology and driving it and stay up to date makes a lot of difference. So moving on, next comes the UX researcher. It is a part of UX design, which like these people plays a critical role at the design process, because these are the people who interact with the users and they analyze the user to understand a certain problem or certain solution for this particular problem, or understand the user as a whole. The whole, they will be getting into the needs, the behavior, motivation, and even identifying the pain points and which areas can be improved. They have a lot of techniques into it. So there are also subdivisions for this job role, such as UX UX researcher, qualitative researcher, quantitative researcher, UX research strategist, and the list go on, right? So here, as a UX researcher, you looked up to have a complete understanding of human psychology and human behavior, because this is going to be intense research, and they're going to put into a lot of design research method, as in UX design research methods, such as surveys, interviews, and usability testing. So people who are coming up from an academic background, as such, like regardless of their domain, or even who are having a strong science, or even um, psychology background, I would say sociology, or anything of that sort, humanitarian background, right? So people can look out for this, because this profile is going to be content heavy. Okay, you're going to learn a lot, you're going to interact a lot with the users, and you should be in a place where you understand them and put up your hypothesis of the whole research and pass it on, right? So it is going to be really a key position in a design process, being a UX researcher. And even this profile is in a much more need globally, I would say, not just in India, all over the world. This is needed. Even I even saw a job profile of I mean few months back in Meta, which actually, like, it was a position in US, if I'm not wrong. They were requesting for academician UX researcher for that. So which is around, like, salary was around 200,000 USD. So of course the need is so huge for this department domain also. So moving on. So yeah, UX writer. So UX writer is, I would say, like, it's not just copywriting skills, it's more than that. So these people are responsible for creating content, and not only informs the guides the it's not just alone you it guides the user through the process, but also gets them, like, to understand the product better and use it better for them to solve the issues, right? So the UX researcher must also collaborate with the designers, developers, to ensure the content fit seamlessly into the design. So it is almost like giving an option to them, right? So making them stay with you matters a lot. So that is what done by the UX writer. So simple difference between the copywriter and UX writer is that copywriter sells you the product. It's almost like they are advertising or marketing the product. UX writer makes sure the user uses the product efficiently. So that's the major difference between them. One is on the marketing side, this is totally on the experience standpoint, where they should actually understand the user, their needs, and what sort of language they will be using, and how they will be requested or required to use it, right? So using a certain language in a certain way, people will be delighted to use, right? Because you might have come across this dark UX writing pattern or UX design patterns, right? When you unsubscribe a newsletter, you would be asking, like, do you really want to miss the fun, right? That's called dark UX pattern. But the right UX pattern, like, it will be really direct to you. Really want to, like, sign out or discontinue a newsletter, yes or discontinue. So that's the options will be given, right? So you can make it better, you can make it worst, and you can put it into, like, putting into a business first, and you can do that. So here relies one of the most important values as a designer. And even as in you use your Google accounts also, you might understand, like, Google has changed a lot of the way it connects with the user in the way that they are putting up the words into, right? So UX writers are in a great need. Okay, moving on. So another one, this is quite interesting role, because I really love this particular job role, like interaction design. So this role involves you to understand the user and how the user interact with the product, so that you give them a seamless interaction. It can be between the screens, or it can be between, like, the elements as in buttons, or, like, can be about anything. Like when they click on the button, something happens, right? The whole interaction even can be fraction of second, but that makes a huge impact, right? Even the interaction can make a user uneasy and uncomfortable, it can make them feel delighted. So I would say, like, everyone would have come across this sort of experience, but we might not have given much of an attention to it, right? So interaction designer focus on how users interact with a product, ensuring seamless and meaningful interaction. So here they have to understand the user behavior, design interactions that meet their needs. It goes beyond just visuals, as in, like, making animation and stuff. So it's more into functionality, responsiveness, overall user engagement with the digital product. So it is quite an intensive role. And over here, any product or any service industry is need of this designer, right? So the job roles which we are discussing right now at this presentation are at high demand, guys, all over India, all through the globe. Okay, so moving on, the collaboration part, right? So as a UX and UI UX person, you will be in a position where you'll be collaborating with different teammates, not just your teammates. You will be in a position of collaborating with stakeholders, product owner, who might be a CEO or a CFO or CTO who would have the n number of opportunities, right? So they would give that time to you just to discuss about the product and how you can go about it. That's the level of responsibility you have. You can just tap into them and you can say, I want to discuss about this product with you. They'd be open for it, right? So you will be put up in a position where you can challenge them, saying that this won't work, because you'll be having a data which provides you a complete idea for them to make that decision. And you can fight them and say, like, this won't work, this and this are the things why it won't work, and another option, this will work. These are things here, the areas you will make a complete judgment out of it, and you will be arguing with them. And people in that position, as a stakeholder, as a product owner, as a business owner, they'll be inviting in because you're working for the product to make it better, right? If you're able to convince them with your data, of course these people are going to be aligned with you. So the convincing and collaborating and communicating, making the communication effective is going to be a part of the role. I think it's going to be part of your everyday job as a UI UX designer, right? Because this requires a lot of skills, right? You have to, let's say you are talking with a business owner or like a stakeholders, you will be talking in numbers, telling them if so and so happens, so and so revenue would come, so and so business would happen, so and so users will downloads will happen. And likewise, when you're talking with a development team, which you will be like, most of the time they let's say like they get hand in hand with discussing something, because we might have a lot of push and pull, but understanding their needs and providing them with the right solution matters the most. And of course, like, you should be in a position where you are aligned with the designer and the developer, because you need them as well as they need you. Okay, we can't be in an like in an argument position. We should be in a place where we can discuss something and make most out of the discussion, right? That's how important it is. So looking into that, a developer, you would be giving them ideas on how this can be done, as in the development, as in development perspective, as in the technology perspective. You can use that, give me why it's not feasible, why it is feasible, why, what can be done to make it better. Of course they're going to give you everything they have in an arsenal, right? The tools, the technology, understand them and try to make it better for the users. So collaboration is going to be part of your everyday job, and you're going to making a lot of discussion, and across vertically and horizontally you will be discussing with everyone. Okay, it can be non-technical person, non-designer, it can be a designer, it can be like specialist like C carrot or senior carrot or executive roles also. So that's how huge the collaboration would be required, and the networking part is great for this profile, right? So that's how important the role becomes when you are a UI UX designer, regardless of your different job profiles, which I earlier discussed. This is where you actually stand out. Okay, because making a decision is not gonna be just with us, it's gonna involve a lot of parties, as such, like a lot of departments, a lot of senior level people, or C cadet people, as in chief executive people, right? So a successful designer is a result of many different skills and perspective coming together to create something greater than a sum of its parts. So exactly, that's why a collaboration is going to be the key to make things better, and also get everyone aligned with the product, so that everyone able to think in the same way and the same path, which is going to give the ultimate product to the users, right? So great. Moving on. So yeah, future job roles of UI UX, right? So this is a quite important one, right? The technology is emerging, right? Every day a new technology emerging. It can be such as virtual reality or augmented reality, artificial intelligence, machine language. So these things are going to be the future, right? So regardless of your roles, it can be UX designer, UI designer, UI developer, UX researcher, UX writer, interaction designer, motion designer, any of that sort is going to be completely changed. This is because you are going to be designing for the interface which people are going to touch on a surface at right now, right? Later on the future, you're going to be designing in a surface which people are going to use it in an air, in the air, right? Or somewhere they're going to put on the smart glasses, or you might have seen the Vision Pro by Apple, right? So they are just interacting with the technology, is able to grasp what you're doing with it. So we as a UI UX designer, we should be in a position to understand how the user interact with it, because this doesn't not that's just putting something on the screen, as in like in the oval shape, right? So it has more to it. as in understanding how the user should see it. Is it going to be long? Is it going to be closer? You have to understand how the eyesight get fatigued using that technology, or interacting with them. So interaction and experience and the development and even the way things are put, everything changes, which is where the UI developer, UX researcher, and UX writer comes into play, right? So adapting to these technologies is going to be one of the more, let's say, concern we should be having, because we should be in a place where we can adapt, and we should be in a place to understanding what really happens, so that we get into the technology one step at a time every day in our life, right? So yes, of course, it's a challenging job, but the challenge is going to be all through your your job role in it. So it's going to be just another day, just another challenge. That's how it's going to be, because that's how many challenges you'll be chasing to solve it. But it's not going to be a stressful challenge. It's going to be, let's say, a fun challenge, because like the satisfaction you're going to get from solving a problem and making a product better is uncomparable to any other thing, because that's how satisfied. And I would say like UI UX profile is the most satisfied job out there, because once you get into a designer, even making a product look good makes you feel fulfilled, as in like you will feel like you did something great, which you really did, right? Not just someone says like to convince you, you would have actually did something really great, making a smallest change of making, let's say, like position of the button, right? Even that makes a greater difference to the business impact, right? So yeah, understanding technology and the future really means a lot over here, right? So we should be in a place where we embrace the future, and so that we could get along and we could help the industry to shape and create amazing innovative designs. Okay, cool. So moving on, skills to develop. What are the skills that a person is needed to develop, right, for the future roles? People who are into design, or like you are getting into the design, and what are the ones you are planning to develop, right? It's more of designing into the emerging technologies, as I said, VR and AR, or even the overall XR, extended reality, which is going to be the immersive future. And along with that comes up your critical problem solving solution, user research, storyboarding, and understanding the user, and making a some proper calculated assumptions, which is going to be backed by data, and analyzing them, interpreting them, and providing the best value. So if you're always on to that standard, and which is going to help to design for regardless of the accessibility issues, and make everyone feel inclusive with it. So that's going to be a crucial skill which the industry is going to be looking forward to that, right? So there are like n number of skills needed for UI UX design, and everything is learnable throughout the process, right? So if you see it from, let's say, like afar, it's gonna be really hard. But if you have a guided people to guide you and mentor you throughout the process, it's gonna be seamless. It is gonna be really seamless, because every day you're going to be indulging with the activity, as and when you can see the difference. Let's say there are courses from 60 days, right from the 33rd, right from the day 2, you'll be getting to know the difference. You won't look the same way you used to look at the same application, right? And 30 days down the line, you will be almost like you will be able to design things, and next 30 days you can master the whole skill. So of course, if you ask me like, can you master everything? I would say like you can master most of it by UX design completely, where you can get a job and excel in it. This is because the UX profile is always a learning profile. You will be learning each and every day, regardless of your specialty, regardless however you master something, there is always something to learn. So that's why this role gets really interesting. The learning never stops. You will always be updating and upgrading yourself. Without your knowledge, or without, I mean, subconsciously, you'll be doing that. Moving on. So looking into the tips for landing your dream job. So networking is one of the important keys to landing a job. This is because you will be a part of a community over here, as and when we learn with multiple groups. And even upgrad has a couple of placement teams, like sub brands which they are looking at, which gives immense opportunities for you to collaborate, right? So attending industry events, joining online communities, and connecting with professionals in the field. It's going to make a lot of difference because you will understand what really goes into the company, what the really people feel, and you will be able to understand what these really these people do, as in the technology they use, tools they use, and how they actually communicate with each other. What are the issues, and why is the issues coming out? So if you are able to follow these people, you will be among them. Down the line, following their updates regularly, you get to know everything about the industry, which makes easier for you to crack the interviews and get your job. Okay. While for that, getting into the interview, you would require a strong portfolio, which is more into of showcasing your skill and experience. So regardless of your experience, regardless of your background, you will be able to create an amazing portfolio, right? Because over here in upgrad, we make sure like right from day one you start working for it, and they'll be adding content to it. Of course, like we'll be sharpening it, of course, throughout. As and when you learn, you'll be sharpening it, but right from day one we'll be starting working for it. So which is why making a strong portfolio will be at ease, right? So, and you should be in a place where your projects demonstrate problem solving and create user centric solution. Okay. So continuous education is crucial in rapidly evolving world of UI UX. Staying up to date with the latest trend and technologies and seeking out opportunities to develop new skills. So like I said earlier, right? Moving on. So career path. What kind of career path can we look at as a UI UX designer? So it's not only provide you an immense job satisfaction, but also provide a great flexibility what you want to be. Because there are like two ways: a technical career and a managerial career. Because a technical career and manager both has this an amazing, let's say, like I would say it's more into preference rather than about the how you're going to grow, because both has an amazing way things can happen as you can grow, right? So let's understand more into it. Technical career. So let's say if you are enjoy being a technician of doing things by your hand, getting your hands dirty, getting deep into things and becoming a domain expert and becoming a specialist. So that's how where you can become a technical career person. You can become, let's say, like GUI designer or graphic artist, as in like interaction designer or senior, and even like there are multiple roles into it. You can continue to being that, and down the line you can improve your knowledge in, let's say, like technology, as in here say HTML, CSS, JavaScript. It's going to be high level technology, right? There are other technology also, because you can become a UI developer also, or you become a UI specialist, as in you can do end to end of UI development, right? So it's more about what a particular niche you want to become in the technical field, right? So getting super strong in it, getting a specialist in it, if anything goes wrong, you will be the person they are going to reach out. So it's more into of a career of an individual contributor, right? Which is more like you are irreplaceable element most of the time, right? Moving on. Managerial career progress. So if you are really good at your people managing skills, and you like to be a team lead, and that might be like making a right path for this, because this is the right way to go. So you can weigh up a UX designer to a UX manager and then to UX director. Down the line you can become a VP or a director of the whole UX or the whole design too, right? So taking on this role is going to be more into a business oriented role, and is going to involve recruitment, resource allocation, and team motivation. So the path is like it's more into of natural flavor of a leadership and a strong interpersonal skills. So people who are into like who can lead people, who can make a lot of change, or make them and direct them, the whole team and the brand, into the right direction. This career progression is for you. So both of them has a lot of let's say pros and cons. I would say not so much cons, but a lot of pros to it. Manager is super on the business side. Down the line you can become, let's say, you can be in a position where you could understand the complete system level design of a brand. And technician is all about like you'll be able to solve A to Z of a particular domain, and you will be the proper domain expert, where business owners will be reaching out to you to solve a problem, right? This is more into manager, this is more in technician, and both are amazing streams you can choose from, right? But having a clear idea of how you want to progress your career going to make a lot of difference. Because if a technical career person get in a manager career, they can manage, but it's going to get really tedious, really stressful. And the other way around, it's the same, right? So analyzing them at the early career stage of understanding where you can really put your work and which direction you can lead can make a lot of difference, right? Moving on. So yeah, getting to the finally we got to the conclusion, right? So it's an exciting and ever evolving, and so staying up to date and keeping up to the latest trends is going to be remain competitive in the job market, right? So whether you are a UI designer, UX designer, any other job roles in the field, the skills you can develop to ensure you're prepared for the future, right? So this is going to be a fun field to learn and a great field to explore and an amazing field to flourish. Okay, so stay open-minded and proactive. You will be well equipped to succeed in the future of the UI UX job roles. Yep. So that concludes my presentation, guys. So yep, any questions? So, yep.
Hi, Prithiv.
Hey Nikshubha.
Hi. Well,
Hello.
as we proceed with the questions part, and I was going through the chat options and the Q. It would be nice to like to let our audience know that what exactly are the most in demand tools and technology tools being used in UI UX, and while working into the industry, what would be something that we usually use,
Yes.
right? And
Okay.
where they can begin with at the same time, right? Like to start with, and to what could be their milestone over there.
So I would say, like, starting getting into this, and they could join our course for sure, because it's well structured and everything is have its own. I mean, like the way the progressing into this particular domain, it's seamlessly set. I would say that. But in regards to the tools, I would say Figma has become the industry standards right now. As and when, like, it used to be XD, Figma, and Sketch. And Sketch is particular to the Mac OS, and very rarely company, only handful of company use it. But Figma right now, everyone use it. It has become the global standard. So making a clear idea about and understanding it, it can be as simple as install. I mean, like making a free account and playing around with it and understanding what it does can be say like a start to get into this, because understanding tool is equally important of understanding the whole subject. But just with the tools and not understanding the whole concept of it is not going to work. You have to understand the everything from end to end, as in starting from understanding the user, as in from the research part, till you do the like usability testing and get into the making into updates and understanding how the user are interacting with it. Till that, the whole truth knowledge should be got. The knowledge should be, let's say, like consumed to make the great use of the tool for problem solving. Yes. So yeah, Nikshubha, what are the other question which has maybe like up votes, high votes, so that we could finish them first?
Yeah, one
Priorities.
of the questions that we have, which has the highest upvote, is how about the folks who are coming from different backgrounds, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
Right.
that's a great question. Because I would say, like, regardless of your background, as I said earlier during the presentation, regardless of your background, your domain expertise, or regardless of experience in a particular domain, so you can always, make a transition to UX. Yes, the transition gonna be, the learning curve is gonna be differ from person to person, but you can, like, put on all, you can leverage your whole experience into a UX profile, because your experience in a particular domain or a knowledge about particular domain can always be used at UX. So regardless, name a domain, people can always use it, because this user experience design and a UI design, you are doing it for the users. And let's say, like, you are coming up from a medical industry or psychology industry, or let's say you are coming up from, let's say, engineering background, anything for that matter, you are invited over here. And let's say, like, there is this really famous I mean, like, leading Don Norman and Nielsen group, right? NN group, they call it. You can check it out. It's a very famous thing. Almost 70 to 80% of the UX UI specialist are from non-design background. So they have librarians, they have meaning, academicians, psychologists, they have enough teachers, professors into this as a UX specialist, because that's how wide the field is, and that's how your expertise is needed in that particular field. I'm talking about one of the leading, or let's say, like, one of the almost like monopoly in the top industry, regardless of brand. Microsoft, Apple, these are the brands which are working with them as an NN group. You can check it out, nngroup.com. They make amazing content. And yeah, so that's how wide the field is. So regardless of your background, you can get into this field, and I bet you'll enjoy doing it. So yeah. What are the other questions? No qualification is needed for getting into a UI design. You can, regardless of a first year, second year, or you want to
No,
get
I
into
don't think.
regardless of your background or your qualification, you can learn in it. Just that English, I think, like, since the overall global content and everything is in English, English will be required as a base thing as to understand it. But other than that, you don't really need any educational qualification to get into this field. Yep. So beginners, yes, I love beginners getting into this because you are much more earlier in your career, and right when you get experience, you'll be much ahead about many of the people, many of the folks later on. So yep. Moving on to a few other questions. Uh, mm, Mostly into the masterclass, which will be covered after the Q&A session. We'll be having a session in regards to explaining about the uh, boot camp and classes, right? So yes, from finance background, yes, of course you can learn this regardless of your background. You'll be able to learn this course at ease, because we have people from let's say like even fashion design background or engineers. We did have people from uh, faculties as a teacher, and I mean, or also people from chartered accountant or accounts department also getting into it, and they have got placed and they are working fine. Of course, like maybe like getting adapted to it throughout the journey can get little as per your background. You can trying to unlearn few things can be a challenge, but once you do that, it's going to be in like 3-4 days in the class, and then after that you're going to feel at ease, and you're going to be going in a top gear for sure, right? So yes. Hmm. Okay, I'm just looking into the questions I could answer. Certificate. Okay. Hmm. So this tool is Figma is gonna be your base level tool, as I told you earlier, right? So yep, I'm just going through the questions. Yes. Okay. So Nikshaba, can you help me with any other questions which has
Yes.
about? Yeah,
I'm
thank
sorry.
you.
Okay. So just once again.
So you don't really need to know even a single line of coding to become a UX designer. And regardless of, I mean, regardless of your past experience or what you're planning to do, you can start it today. So that's how the UI UX is designed. The
Fair.
whole course is designed. Yes.
Right. Prithiv, though I have scrolled down the questions, most of them are aligned with the same field. I have a different query that I would
Yeah,
like
yeah,
our
sure.
audience to know about, right? What is the importance of a strong portfolio in this industry? Right, because it's
So
a practical domain. That is my first
yes,
question. And
yes, true.
followed by, I guess it's an industry where people can build both consultant, freelance, and full-time
Mm,
by
they can do
themselves.
everything at the same time too.
Yeah. Yeah. And at the same time too, at the same time.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
that's
More
how
or
the
less,
field is
I
inviting.
think free domain, if I can
Yes,
call it.
more like cause like everyone over here, they might be working at for a domain, and they will also be learning. Let's say like they can be consulting, they can be freelancing, and
Right.
of course there are like a lot of project which requires non-disclosure agreement, but other than
Yeah.
that, people are okay because that's how you learn, right? And
Right.
looking into that, a strong portfolio is going to be really important, which is why even in our course we started from our day one. This is because as a designer, as a UI designer, your work speaks for itself. Simple as such. You have a great academy, you have great certificates, you have an amazing degree, and you have great course certificates. Nothing matters if you don't have a proper or even like a decent, no decent, not even good portfolio. Because
Right.
we make sure your portfolios are great, which is why it is really important to have it. So, and let's say like if you are from a certain industry and you are a specialist in the industry, you can create a portfolio on that. You can create a case study on that, which makes the recruiter or your let's say client or your audience to understand that this guy is a particular expert in this field and he make amazing design for this specialist as in a particular field. Because not everyone can be expert in every field out there, right? So of course that's the journey of learning, we take it forward. So whatever field you are good at and you are focused at, you can do a case study on that. And of course, like, the course is going to support you with what is required to be done also. And that's open to you too, because it's more into your personal preference, as in like how many case studies you're going to add. 4 to 5, you can add 4 to 5 to display your expertise. So yeah.
Um, and feel, I mean, my further question, and feel free to say no if that is a requirement over here, okay? And so most of our audience today are coming from a non-tech background. Most of them
Mm,
have very new to this whole domain of UI UX and might not know what exactly a
mm.
portfolio. So would you like to press share your screen and show a sample portfolio for the reference of any of
Yeah,
our.
sure. Maybe I can pull it up. Just a second.
Yeah, that's fine. Meanwhile, I can
Great.
just
Yeah.
give audience. Okay, so guys, we are receiving certain. Meanwhile, we present on the screen that what a portfolio looks like, right? What are we exactly talking about? Portfolio in the industries of creative industries, I would say, as an artist, as a UI UX designer, right, and as a graphic designer, sometimes as a lawyer. All these domains, your portfolio it works like your CV. Yeah, right. So
True.
before your CV, before your cover letter, your recruiter is going to ask you for your portfolio, and that is why we are putting that enhancement. That, like, not just irrespective of the boot camp, covering the fact that what exactly the portfolio is and how do you build it, and we also ensure that you have a good portfolio built during the journey of the boot camp. We are here to show you that how does the portfolio actually looks like, right?
Yes.
So yeah,
Just
Prithiv,
pulling it up.
feel free to share this.
Just a second. Yes. The portfolio can be simple as such, just showing out your works, right? So this is I would say, like, one of the, it is going to be really simple and straightforward, as in like putting up your work and your email address. Just, it can be, it is open. So this one is pretty closed. And let me check. So yep. Mm. Just took a portfolio which is a closed portfolio, just opening it up. Just a second. Hmm.
All right. At the same time, while we share our screen, I would like to, we are receiving certain emails on the fact that about your certification. I understand most of you had joined after 11:15. So you are eligible for a certification on the completion of this whole masterclass. Going to be shared to you on your respective email ID within 2 weeks from today. Okay. Secondly, we are going to announce the special offer in next 10 minutes from now as we are conducting the Q&A. So our teammate has already joined in, and now as on the screen you are seeing a sample of a portfolio which our expert is presenting.
So yeah, this portfolio can be simple as this, like, just explaining them what you have done. And it can be about, let's say, like the research part, the whole like problem, what is the problem statement over here, what is the problem you use as it, and explaining them the goals and how do you start with it, and initial research, as in like brainstorming, or these things are the wireframes we call it. And of course, like, this can get technical, okay, but you will be in a position to do these things, okay. Maybe like I'm just searching for one of our students' portfolios. I'm not able to find it right now. I didn't keep it ready. So yeah, like we have everyone, like regardless of the background, we had people doing portfolio much greater than this. Okay, and yeah, it can be simple as such. So depending on your expertise or whatever you're choosing. If you want to be a UI person, you can develop, like related to that. If you become a UX person, you can put on a case study based on that. And based on that, you can become as an UI UX as a complete product designer also. As such, you could put on your research knowledge and how you thought about the whole solution part, and then how you thought about the visual categorizing, hierarchy, typography, everything can be put into place. So that's how easy it can get. And it might seem overwhelming right now. It can be quite overwhelming because it is more into a technical terminologies, but I bet down like 10 days down the sessions, you're going to understand each and every like terminologies or jargons which is up there. So you can go to website, I mean like online, and search about UX, UI, UX portfolios, and you can find a ton of really good portfolios. And after this class, I would bet you will understand what is a good portfolio, what is a bad portfolio, because there is quite a lot of misconception out there. So putting up your work is not enough. It's all about understanding what a user is and how you're presenting it to them. So we make sure that you are in a position to do that, and you make sure like you make the best out of your showcasing your work. So yeah, make sure. Great.
Awesome. Yes, thanks a lot, Prithiv.
Sure.
I guess this has been going great so far, and rightly, and now it is the time to um, unveil the whole offer that we have created the curiosity about during across the whole masterclass. We have been talking even during the subject matter that how this course enables the success of the beginning of a successful career into UI UX industry. And for that, we have a very special person who has already joined with us today, Rakshit leads the UI UX bootcamp category at upGrad. He finds himself reskilling, upskilling in this whole industry, working with us. And Rakshit is over here to announce the offer that we have for all our learners today. Right. So, hi, Rakshit, can you hear us?
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, Shubha.
Good afternoon. All right. So, over to you, and I'm going to share from here. I would be on mute. So, please let me know whenever you're not able to hear me or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, cool, noted.
Just give me a moment, please.
Sure. So guys, firstly, good afternoon to all of you who have joined. Probably on a weekend, which you guys have dedicated probably 1.5 to 2 hours of your time. So I'm sure you guys have not heard of upGrad for the first time. I'm sure you guys have heard about upGrad quite a few times before this, probably researching over certain things, or probably your friends recommending you probably for higher order certification or something. So upGrad, we basically deal with people who are into working class, people who are just out of graduation, or people who are in the final years of their graduation. So as you know, upGrad was founded back in 2015 by Roni Screwvala and quite a few other members from IITs. And so we're going really great from organization which was a $600 million valuation to $300 million valuation. We have growth, and it has only been happened of we able to achieve it because we give more focus on values and delivering what exactly it is. All right. So over to the next slide. So yeah, we have a huge, I'd say a set of companies which are tied up with us. We are present across 70 plus countries, and there are already 10 million plus learners who have benefited from our programs. So see, when usually when people come to us in terms of inquiries or the entire premise itself, so it's basically about your requirement. What do you want to do? Because we get three sets of people: one who are looking for upskilling only, others who are looking for upskilling and for freelancing, and people who are looking for job opportunities like change of domain of work or something. So first thing you need to know is what exactly is your requirement coming into the program. And again, we have 5,000 plus enterprise partners. We have tied up with Singapore and Dubai governments as well for this particular thing. So if you ask me about UI UX, I was going through the masterclass. I did realize that a lot of you have a doubt that I'm coming from a non-technical background. Would I be able to fit into this? See, UI UX is not into technical, non-technical things. It's basically because you are the first movers into any kind of a project when you're coming in. So if you look at a life cycle of a project, you know for a fact that when you look at a project, for example, you're working in Infosys, you get a project from your client side. Let's take an example of a website. So initially, it's the UX researchers who researches the data and gives the right data to the designers. The designers design the entire roadmap, the entire, I'd say, structure of the website, and then it is given to the people who are into development. Then comes the cloud computing people, and the deployment is done by DevOps people before it goes to delivery through the project manager. So you guys have a huge responsibility at the same time, and you are the first movers into any kind of a project. So everything depends on what kind of designs or what kind of efforts you put into a project. So that is how exactly this job role is. All right. So if you look at our training panel, people are coming here with amazing amount of experience working in the core UI UX domain itself. Reason being, we are here to give you practical knowledge rather than theoretical knowledge, because it's always about the knowledge transfer is going to happen. Because for a fact, out of probably 2,000 plus people present here, you have a creative side into you, right? But you are in that nutshell, you're not explored that side of you. So it can only be happen by the right people being giving you the training, and also we restrict the batch to be very quite minimalistic, because individual attention be given to you guys. All right, so you can see and see, as per the National Employment Report, if you can see on your screen, 80% of engineers are unemployable. Reason, because when you go to engineering, I myself come from engineering background, the structure is such that you're only given the theoretical knowledge during your engineering days or to your graduation days, which is enough to clear your examination. But what happens in the industry is a different story altogether. Correct me if I'm wrong, any one of you. So the whole point of the matter is, for a fact, why people get internal training once they get into a job after their placements, because they want you to make you ready for the industry, not just by giving you some kind of a theoretical knowledge, but practically teaching you what exactly you'll be doing, and then you'll be deployed into projects. So this is more like a corporate training, and we are making you guys industry ready. All right, moving ahead. So what exactly would be your growth once you get into UI UX? All right, when you get into UI UX, you start off as an intern, you go into as a paid intern, or probably into UI. If you're someone who is already into design, you get into design. If you're a working professional, if you're an absolute fresher, you go into as an intern, and then you grow from a UI UX intern to a UI UX designer, senior designer, and then it goes on like that. Ultimate goal is to become a project manager. I'm sure whoever is there from the tech side know about this, right? It's all about growth. So this is exactly how your chart looks like. Moving ahead. Okay, so what upGrad provides to you? We have something called as a KnowledgeHut PRISM, which is again the learning management system portal wherein all your classes and all those things happen. Now, one good thing about this is we are the only organization in the entire globe who have integrated AI, artificial intelligence, in our LMS portal, wherein every time you do a project assessment or task, the AI will detect your skill sets, your skills and sub skills, and it will show you in infographics where exactly your strengths are, where exactly an area of improvement is there. Because it's more like a self-analysis what's going to happen. Because quite frankly, we're not kids anymore, wherein some person has to come and tell you where exactly you have to improve. You have to realize it yourself. And moreover, you tend to get to know that where exactly you will expertise yourself in. Like probably you are good at research, probably you are good at design. So this is where you explore yourself, and this is where you can, make sure that I can improve in this area rather than focusing on an area which I'm already good at. All right. So all these things will be provided you. There'll be auto-generated assessments, interactive books, and just in case, there are two kind of slots here: weekday classes and weekend classes. Wherein weekdays will be it's a 3 months program, and weekends is going to be a 4 months program. It completely depends on a person's convenience, their job roles, what kind of time management they're having, they have built for themselves, and all those things. Irrespective of it, the best part why we have come up with the program this point of time, because for a fact the majority of the IT hiring happens in the month of August, September, October, November, and December. Because Jan, Feb, and March, the frenzy is less, 30% less hiring is going to happen, because obviously for the financial year end reasons, etc. So it's all about being there at the right time, doing things at the right time. So this is the reason we have come up with the masterclass or with the program at this point of time. All right. So again, we provide 126 hours of live session, industry-oriented capstone projects, and all those things. So some people are like, they're like, we are certifying from Golden Gate University. So obviously, because they're the one who have approved the program curriculum, and they'll be accrediting you the certificate, and you'll be certified from them. But for a fact, out of my experience working in corporate, never have I seen anyone being given a job just because of the certificate they keep on the interview table of the interviewer. It's all about your skill set. If your skill set matches the requirement of the organization, then in and there you are you are going to get the job. All right. So make sure your portfolio is absolutely on point. And interviews obviously wouldn't be that kind of a technical interview, because whatever you are will be obviously displayed in your portfolio. It is more like, as much as harsh it sounds, it represents you. You'll be judged on your portfolio. Because I feel, take example of me or Nikshubha. I think she has a different wavelength or bandwidth of thinking, and so do I. So how we put things into matter is actually matters. That matters a lot. All right. Moving ahead. Upgrad placement ratio. See, then again, it's all on you. My job is to upskill you make you work on hands-on projects and schedule interviews for you. Your job is to, go for the interviews. So there's a reason we prepare your resume, we help out with your portfolio, then we give you 2 rounds of mock interviews, and then we provide you interview opportunities in our partnering companies. Okay. So there are, as per LinkedIn's data and Indeed's data, there are 25,000 plus job roles available in India as for the next coming quarter. So this exactly sums up the things that why this particular job was important. And yeah, I'm sure, I think I saw a question saying that this wasn't, the case like few years back. Reason I tell you, basically digitalization has taken place in such a massive rate that, we are so dependent on smartphones and all other things, right? So you cannot imagine an industry or organization running without a website and applications. You're so much dependent on that. All right. So that is where the things come into play. And again, it doesn't matter. I reiterate the fact, doesn't matter if you're coming from a non-technical background in terms of education. So it's completely fine. It's all about the skill set and the portfolio, what you're going to build that is going to, get you into the job. Going ahead. So yeah, in terms of coming into the part of the enrollment process, we have a 20% scholarship on our fees, okay, for what's mentioned in the website. All right, for the people who have obviously attended the masterclass, so you can reserve your seat by paying 5,000 as a down payment, and the rest of the things can be, have multiple financial options for that. So I think Nikshuba will be sharing the link for that particular reason to you, and then you can go ahead with things. Nikshuba, is there any other questions would you want me to ask from your side at any rate?
I guess we can just wait into the Q&A box and see if if anyone has raised any question. Okay. How can I join? Okay. So how can you join exactly the bootcamp? You have to submit the Google form, and one of our academic counselor will be getting in touch with you about the same. Okay. So while the academic counselor gets in touch with you, they will give you more details about the enrollment. The basic highlights of the process is you pay the caution amount, and then you you confirm, you understand the whole bootcamp roadmap, exactly that what would be the flow of your learning, and they will let you know the next cohort, and that's it. I guess your learning journey starts right there. Okay. All right. We're gonna circulate the Google form. Yes, the Google form is here in the chat box. We're gonna let this be for here, and if you have any questions, kindly put it into the Q&A poll.
I'm seeing quite a few questions here regarding saying that should I need to learn HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, and all those things. So I did mention this for this particular reason. See, as I told you, designing is something different and development is different. Designing is what is the structure we give to the developers. You are into a design field. When you're into design, it's not necessary for you to know the coding languages. This is more into using the tools. All right. So you use the tools so as to design the program, design the entire project, that is, and the developers will go ahead and develop it from there. The front-end developers or the full stack software developers rather. All right. Some kind of a part-time job which are companies, and once it is done, they don't need us anymore. Not really. Again, when you are working in an organization, it depends if it's a product-based company or a service-based company. When you have service-based company, there's ample amount of projects flowing in from various clients across the globe. All right, TCS, Infosys, Wipro, these people are service-based companies. When you're working in a product-based companies, for a fact that your I'd say this doesn't change. As a matter of fact, you have to go through continuous update. It's all about user interaction and user experience. I'm sure a lot of people, or a lot of you guys have gone to e-commerce platforms like Amazon and Flipkart, and you tried to order something because of the shabby interface. You were not able to get into the right product, and you went back to Myntra and ordered in Myntra. Why? Because the experience was bad. But the same thing doesn't happen when you go to the website next time. They have changed the interface. So it's about regular updates. It's about new products coming in, how you're going to design it. So you're always on your toes. So it's not something that it's something you're doing once it's done, it's done. No, it's not like that. It's all about regular, because recently we got into a few other programs like DevOps and cloud computing. So when these programs come in, people research, our UX is a research on our competitors, what kind of things we have to do and all this. They provide the data and it keeps on going like that. So you're hired. It's not some kind of a part-time job or something. All right, you're actually hired into the industry. I think that I answered a few questions which was there in the chat section.
Yes, thanks,
Yeah.
thanks, Rakshit. We had one of the questions which was raised by Atrira, I guess, that she's actually an experienced UI UX designer already. She has been working into the domain and she wants to enhance her portfolio, right? We do cover that into our bootcamp, Athira, but if the agenda is to only enhance the portfolio, that service, unfortunately, like, being a learning experience platform, we unfortunately we are not able to of that. However, in the given future, we do plan to conduct a masterclass on how to create a good portfolio, and I guess you would be able to. I guess that masterclass might help you in the given future. Okay, if you still want to know more, everyone who still wants to know more in detail about the UI UX bootcamp, we have actually circulated the website link into the chat box. You can click, you can go through it. Out to avail the offer of 20%, kindly submit the Google form over here. Okay, I guess. Okay, before we have a wrap, I just want to confirm from Rakshit if he has anything additional to share across our audience.
Majority of the questions I'm seeing here in the chat section is just people coming from a different background. All right,
Yeah.
how to kickstart my career and all those things. So as I told you, I think multiple times, me and I know Nikshuba and also our Prithiv has actually told. So it doesn't matter what kind of background you're coming from. Your graduation is an eligibility for you to get into an interview, and once you're into the interview, it's all about what the skill set you have. Let's take I'll just leave with this example for guys, who thinks that, upskilling, why upskill is important. When was artificial intelligence introduced in the world? Probably 5 years back, right? In the corporate world. But you see people who are 45, 50 years old working in corporates in artificial intelligence. How? This was never there in the graduation. Neither did have they worked 5 years prior to this. They have upskilled themselves looking at the current market trend. So this is exactly the power of upskilling. All right. So it's about updating yourself. I wouldn't say that you do UX program now and then you're sorted for the rest of your life. Your learning journey will never stop. All right. It keeps on going compared, it depends on the market requirement and the industry requirement. So I think I'd wrap up with that, Nikshuba.
Thank you so much, Rakshit. And now I would like to extend this to our expert today, Prithiv, that if he has any closing statement to this masterclass, if you want to convey anything to all our learners today.
Yeah, sure. So I would say, like, I could see many people have this kind of fear, like, that I'm not from that sort of a background. I'm from a totally different domain. Even Rakshit also explained the same, and even you did, and even I even did throughout the presentation. So regardless of your career, regardless of what sort of career you are at, regardless of your experience, whatever you had, regardless of your academic background or however you are at, just your interest is more than enough to get you into this field. Okay, so that's all it's needed. And this course, whichever, which this is going to be a complete boot camp we are offering, is going to be make the transition part is going to be done seamlessly throughout this. So which is what we have been like putting across through our everyday sessions or weekend session. That's what we've been planning, and we have given the great results till date. So I'm pretty much confident that myself being a trainer in the boot camps, so I have seen tremendous results from, I have teachers, I had around like the professors, earlier I said that, right? So we had an amazing results of them. So I would give you 10% of assurance that regardless of your field, you can excel in this field. Okay, so yeah, that's would be my closing statement, Nikshuba. All the best, guys. Have a great day. Thank
Awesome.
you, Nikshuba.
Before we wrap, I'm pulling another poll in front of all our audience. Let me just check that out for a moment, please. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to pull another poll in a minute. And once you submit the poll, I would like to actually request all our audience to get a snap ready, right? So to get the snap ready, what we are going to do exactly is you can express your excitement of this masterclass in the form of reactions. Okay, so please submit the poll over here that I have just launched, and after submitting, express your reaction about your experience with the masterclass using the reaction box. So I am Instagramming this, and the more we flood over here is the much more excitement about the same. Okay. Right, all our audience are getting excited. Okay, we have 70% participation at this point of time. All right, Guys, I promise we're not going to run this poll more than next 20 seconds. So last 20 seconds, 70% participation so far. And kindly share your excitement with us. Prithiv, come on, you can turn on your video. We would definitely want this to be Instagram. Awesome. Cool. Last 5 seconds, guys, 80% participation. Let's meet the expectation. 90% is what we had started. 90% is what we should meet at least, correct? Awesome. All right, we're going to end this poll now. Thanks a lot, everybody. Cool. I hope I have recorded it. And yeah, I'm so glad, because one thing that I always do is that forget to start recording. And I'm so glad about it that I didn't miss it this time.
Yeah, kindly do tag me in this post.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's call out on the participation, guys. Though it's 80%, but I'm glad that we all have expressed it. I'm going to assume your love via reaction. So 50% of our audience have felt excellent engagement throughout. Congratulations for that, Prithiv. And actually, 35% have felt it good enough. I guess that's, I mean, we totally are for feedbacks, guys. You will be getting a call from our academic counselor anyway, so convey your feedback, that how we can improve. We can definitely implement it. Looking forward to see you all into the upcoming workshop on August 16. Okay, so enroll now. You have 20% offer of scholarship offer only for the participants who submit the Google form today. The Google form is still there into your chat box. Submit that out. And with this, let's have a wrap. Have a great day, everybody. I would like to thank Prithiv for being really amazing expert. Thanks a lot to all our lovely audience. You have been great. Thanks a lot to Rakshit for announcing the not just the offer, unveiling the offer, but actually putting the perspective of as a outsider, right? That how you should actually approach to the boot camp or any learning experience. Like, I guess that makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Rakshit. Thanks a lot to my co-host today, who has been a part of this masterclass, Rekha and Divya. It has been great to have you all, and have a great day ahead. Happy Sunday, and I wish you have a great start of the next week. Have a great day ahead. Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nikshima.
Thank you.